All right, Chris, ready to rock?
We're ready to go.
All right, let me send you the test message here. Make sure you got that, and we'll get going. All right.
We're
Have a
ready.
great show.
Follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
When planning the road to success, there are a few steps to keep in mind. Identifying and solving the cause, facing and embracing change, goal setting, and being accountable. We'll talk about this today on Sustainable Success with Chris Salem. New and healthier habits lead to prosperity in all areas of your life and business. Now, here's your host, Chris Salem.
Well, welcome. Hope everyone is having a splendid week. It's a beautiful day here in the New York City area. Spring is here. Hopefully everyone is doing well. If you're new to Sustainable Success, you found us here at the Voice America Influencers channel. We also encourage you all to check out our Facebook page at Sustainable Success 2017. There we have many of our great guests that we've had on over the years, sharing their words of wisdom to help take your business and your personal lives to the next level. So again, we encourage you to check us out at Sustainable Success 2017. Today's show is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. This is a social media community platform designated to bring together alumni, whether if you went to a university, a community college, you could be in a fraternity, sorority, or perhaps even a business that you worked in that is no longer in business, a way to get together with people that you haven't seen in a while, and also with people you do not know that went to your school. Great way to collaborate and form new partnerships, new friendships, share experiences, and perhaps land your next opportunity. Check them out at myalumnidirect.com. That's myalumnidirect.com. We're going to have a great show today. We're going to be talking about creating powerful collaborations and connections. As many of you know, we've talked quite a bit around the area of collaboration, where Sustainable Success is all about collaboration and bringing together great people that can share their ideas and resources and networks to help each other add value and bring your business to another level. And we're going to be talking today with Kearn Crockett-Cherry. Kearn is a really spectacular person. I had the privilege of being on her platform, speaking platform last week. It was a wonderful experience, and she'll be sharing some insights to that here. And before I bring her on, I'll let you know about herself. She's a speaker, coach, entrepreneur, author, and collaborator. She is the owner of PRN Home Care, which is 24 years old company. She's vested over 30 years in the healthcare field and holds a degree in occupational therapy. She often speaks on create your own event, turning connections into major collaborations, create your own door, and more. She's the co-founder and director of Success Women's Conference, which produced over 1,100 attendees in person. This year was over 17,000 virtually. She's the founder and director of the Power Up Summit and Level Up Your Visibility and Profitability. It's all about powering up your life, finance, health, career, and business. She is the visionary author of her #1 best-selling book anthology, Trailblazers Who Lead, with 29 co-authors. She has an anthology, Make It Happen, and Trailblazers Who Lead Volume 2, which she is currently looking for 30 co-authors, and we'll be hearing more about that later. She's also the featured author in Finally Free and My Walk Through Hell. She is a co-author of Women Inspiring Nations, Volume 2, Success Must Be Taken and Unboxed. And she was previously the host and executive producer of Unwrinkled Heart Caregivers Journeys. Without further ado, we welcome Kearn Cherry to the show. Kearn, how you doing today?
I am doing fabulous, Chris. So actually in a #1 bestseller campaign right now.
Wow.
Yes. So I'm all about collaborating. You are speaking my language.
I love it. Well, we're gonna talk about that today because you know it better than anyone. And when you think about this environment that we're in, we've been through over a year now of COVID, working from our homes, everything on Zoom these days. But things are starting to show signs that we're going to be getting back out there again, but there's going to be, maybe a hybrid model of this, so, some of the things that we've been going through over the last year may be here to stay. Talk about what the future of collaboration is. Where do you see it from your perspective, since you do this on a daily basis?
Well, really and truly, I think more people are going to be collaborating because number one, the world has shrunk. Thanks to be honest, COVID has really made it shrink even quicker because people are now global. Your business is now being pushed to go digital, which, let's face it, the World Wide Web is a global platform. So you're kind of forced to look beyond where you're at in order to do business around the world. And to do that effectively, you really need to be connecting with other people. So I really think it's essential that you actually pay attention and connect with the right people. Yes, you have to look at who you're connecting with, but you definitely want to collaborate in order to grow so much faster than if you were trying to do everything by yourself.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It is, the world has shrunk, and you're seeing, it's like nowadays it's used to be like, competing for market share, and it was all about what makes you stand out. And not to say that that's still not the case on some level, but it's about like, what can we do together to help create value and help somebody solve a problem, or a business solve a problem. So collaboration really plays a role in that, even if it's people that may do something similar, but yet they can come together and still really offer value and both benefit from that particular opportunity. Talk about a little bit about that, how that's shaping up, Kearn.
Well, I'm going to say this again. I really think because of the time that we're in, the pandemic has forced people to look at how you do business, right? I remember watching an episode of How Food Shaped America. And I watched this episode of Frito and Lay's. Frito, which was a separate business from Lay's. And it was actually, they grew during the Depression, right? And Frito was the number one and Lay's was number two. That being said, it's in the snack business. That being said, at some point, right as everything started to, slow, the war started to end, Lay's realized he was never going to catch Frito. Even though he was making millions and the other ones making millions, which mean they both were billionaires for their time, that he realized that it was just smarter to approach this other man and say, you're on this side of America, I'm on this side of America. Why don't we collaborate, each of us save money, and then we both go up to they were already at the top. We both remain at number one together. And literally, that is how Frito-Lay today came to exist. These men came together. They actually ran separately their business, using each other plants for a while. And then they finally just said, you know what, we're doing business together. We might as well be business together. Now, if people like that who are aggressive and determined and had competed against each other for years can come together and become $1 billion business, why can't the rest of us who actually are struggling sometimes come together with people who have talents that you don't have? But if you put that talent and your talent together, you're powerful. Yeah. You will stand out, and you can stand out together. You don't need to stand alone. You stand together and win together. Everybody can win.
Yeah, it's so true. I love that. And I've been hearing quite a bit of that. It's not the days of when we're always trying to compare each other, ourselves to others, and it's about, like, hey, it's not that we've reinvented the wheel here. We're doing things that have been done for whatever period of time. It's a matter of like, hey, we're never going to be everything for everyone, but together we can be. So let's find a way to work together than rather work apart. So in some ways, this COVID was, could be a blessing in a way. Yes,
Mhm.
some people lost their lives, unfortunately, and
Yes.
things happen. But for every time when there's an issue like this that affects the world, there's always a blessing disguised in it. And I believe what you said, Kearn. It's bringing more people together than ever before in a collaborative way that we can
Mhm.
even do business this way as well. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So
What would you
I'm
say for those people that are listening and they're hearing this and they're saying, okay, I'm starting to process this, but they still haven't wrapped their head around it yet. It's like they've been still operating from this place of like dog eat dog, so to speak. What would you recommend somebody, go around strategizing to collaborate better that will offer more value to the areas they serve and also help grow their business?
So imagine this. You're putting together a company or you're putting together an event or organization, and instead of taking 100% of your money, you're now partnering with somebody. And now that from that partnership, they share half of the cost. They also, you have your team and they have their team. So you're bringing together intellectual property and you're decreasing the workload on your team. In addition to that, you're actually not as strained as the owner, because now you have somebody that can bounce off you. And then wherever they go, because they're promoting that business, you're being promoted as well, even though you're not in the room. So you're increasing your network, right? Because network increases your net worth, right? So you're increasing that by collaborating with somebody who they may not even be in the same country or at least the same town as you, or even if they are in the same town, you have now covered the whole town, the whole area, because now there's two of you. Just imagine having two of you representing one company. Yes, they speak a different language. That's what you want. That's what makes you a great partnership, because they bring something to the table that you don't now have to go out and pay for. If you're not great at marketing, and that person is, guess what? You don't have to go pay for that, because now they're on your team. Now you have an in-house marketing team. So you got to look at it as, how am I going to benefit from this collaborative relationship? And all their relationships now become your relationships, right? If you're sharing and working together, you each benefit from each other relationships. So it's just, I'm telling you, you go up immediately when you collaborate. When you're struggling and you're doing stuff on your own, even if you're not struggling, you are creating so much more stress for yourself and your team. You don't have anybody outside your team to bounce things off of. That other person has themselves and their team. So you come together and you can bounce off ideas. How many of us have creative teams that work for us, right? So imagine having two separate creative teams working directly for you, right? You're on one team, the other's on the other team, but they get to come together and work on those creative ideas. It's just an amazing. I've seen this with my conference, Success Women's Conference, and really all of my conferences are a collaborative effort. So I really encourage you to consider, stop trying to do everything yourself. Now, is there a process in making sure that you're not picking the wrong person? Yeah, and we can talk about that.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into that in the second segment, Karen, because we'll have more time to chat on that. But when you talk about like, when you look at like when you become a realtor, for example, that the first thing they tell a new realtor is go out and build your sphere of influence, 50 to 100 people. And so talk about like, you don't go out and just get 50 to 100 people, just anybody, but you get people that that maybe align with your values in some way, people that you share a certain interest in, maybe people that leverage your weakness, you offset your weaknesses, and that allows you to leverage your strengths. Can you shed some more insight to that as well about informal collaboration?
Yeah, collaboration, you definitely want to always think about what that person is bringing to the table, right? You know, I always say the Bible says you got to be equally yoked as a husband and wife, right? And so many people look at collaboration as a business marriage. Really, at the end of the day, that's what you're looking at. So you need to look at it in a similar fashion. What talents does that person have? Everybody is not your cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever you want to say. Everybody is not going to be somebody that's of value to them. So I always look and say, what I have, I start with me and I write that down. What am I bringing to the table, right? And then I look at them and then I look at what they're offering and I write that down. So that first off, so there's a benefit. So if there's, you know, you ever heard the old saying, you know, two people who are introverts maybe not be really good for a marriage, right? Because typically they say opposite attracts. Well, even in business, you want to do the same thing. You want to make sure that person's emotionally. One of the things I always say, they EQ, that's important. Does that person have high emotional intelligence? I always say you really need that person to be that way, because if they're not self-aware, if they're not self-starters, if they're not empathetic, they're not going to understand when your business is in a crisis, because they're all about themselves. So you have to look at that. You also need to make sure that they have a team, right? If you have a team and you're bringing a team, you want to make sure that person has a team too, and that their team is going to complement your team. You also want to make sure that y'all have the same integrity, the same ethics. If you don't believe the same thing I believe, then we probably going to get to a business idea that we're not going to be able to go forth with, right? And that is going to create a bump in the road. I remember a client of mine, actually a writer of mine, she said that her partner that they had partnered with had, they were in it for the money. So they really didn't care as long as they got the money. And she had an issue because it didn't match the value of the company, of the business they were looking at. So the question was, do you stay in business together, or do you actually just go because the other person wants it, even though you do not? So it's really important that you look at, does this person have the same integrity, the same ethics, the same work ethics? Do they work as hard as you? You don't want to be the only one working, right? I mean,
I agree.
You know, Chris, I know you work hard, right? So
I do.
So I'm always like, are you that person who likes to take more than you give? That's essential, you know, because if you're a taker, you're probably not you may not be a big doer. You may not be.
Yeah.
You may be a person that rides off of other people's back, as I like to say. So make sure to check them out.
Well, this is perfect. Well, Kearn, we're going to come back and I want to talk. We're going to get some more words of wisdom from you. We have to go to break, everyone, but we got more to come. Again, we're talking about creating powerful collaborations and connections. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. We'll be right back after the break.
Okay, perfect. All clear. Back in 2.
All right, Kearn. Kearn, we're on a 2-minute break. I just got to tell my wife something real quick. Give me about 30 seconds. Okay, so we are good. We're back. So I wanted to fill you in because I couldn't tell you in the beginning. So we're going to be after the break. We're going to go until about I'm going to go on Central Standard Time. 11:41, 42 will be the second break. And then the show will end around 11:58, 59 your time. But I want to leave 2 or 3 minutes before the end so I can let people know a little, so you can let people know where to find you, more things on your events. And we could talk a little bit about that in the third segment too.
Okay.
As well. And then I'll have the recording of this for you available later today. So I'll make sure to send it to you then.
Okay. So that's when I'll share it out and share
Yeah.
the
So we're live right now. I mean,
Right.
even though they can't hear you and I right now, but when we come back, they'll hear us. But but the recorded version will be the podcast version. Yeah.
Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Make It Happen is going for #1 bestseller today.
I love it. Love it. So we'll make sure to talk about that in the third segment. We'll chat on that.
Okay. Awesome.
Beautiful. All right, let me see how much time we have here. Matt, how are we doing on time? Oh, we must have a little time.
Coming back in about 22 seconds.
22. All right. So not much time. All right. All right. So what it'll do, Kearn, it's just going to feed in the tail end of the commercial, and then I'll come in and do my thing, and then I'll segue right in where we left off.
Yep. That'll work.
All right. All right. Here we go.
You are listening to Sustainable Success with Chris Salem. Call into our program today at 1-866-472-5795. Again, that's 1-866-472-5795, or send an email to Chris at christophersalem.com. Now, back to Sustainable Success.
Well, welcome back. We are here with Kearn Cherry. We're talking about creating powerful collaborations and connections. If you're just joining us again, you can listen to the show in its entirety later today here at the Voice America Influencers channel, also at Apple Podcast, and then Spotify, and anywhere where you can download a podcast, you can listen there as well. So we were just talking about, a little bit about how we go about collaborating. What are the benefits of collaboration? So, Kearn, I wanted to talk to you about, when we look at collaborations and making strong connections, we started tapping into some of the things about values and what to look for and so on. So what would be like some of the other things that we could tell the listeners or those listening later, some of the things to look for and some of the things that again, you should not look for and to get into a collaboration. So looking at the pros and cons.
So the first thing I want people to understand, when you're connecting, #1, connections are about relationships, right? So that is before going into anything, you got to look at relationships. And once you start to look at what that involves, what do you normally bring to a relationship? And what is that person bringing? Are they, like I mentioned before, are they givers or takers? To figure that out, most of the time when you're communicating with somebody who follow-ups with you, somebody who I always say, for me with a relationship, I look to see, does that person give? Do they send referrals? Do they consider me for things? That type of stuff. Now, I'm more of a giver, so I'm more of that. When I go into the relationship, I'm always the person. I like to give. I like to bring people on board, bring them into what I'm doing, and have them be a part of what I'm doing. If down the road they say, okay, Kearn, I want you in this, that, and this, that's great. But I'm that person that will give. And so I always tell people a collaboration is a partnership. So you really need to be looking for those type of people who come in and they bring automatic value. They're really looking at, okay, and I'm gonna use my conferences in general, events and conferences. When I come to that, I'm looking to see, okay, does this person have the skills to market this? If they don't, do they have a team to market this? Because when you're doing events, conferences, podcasts, all that type of stuff. What drives most of that is the ability to share the word. So are they a person who shares out? Are they a person that brings other people to the table? Do they naturally do that? Or they have to be encouraged to do that? Remember, a person whose EQ is high, they naturally self-start most of these things. And if they don't have it, they go out and look for that and they bring that to the table. Are they gonna contribute the same amount of money as you do? A lot of times when people go into relationships, they don't assess, will that person bring the same money as you? If I just say I'm bringing 100,000 to a business that I'm working on with somebody, is that other person willing to bring 100,000? Or they're talking about I only have 5 or 10? You're already in an imbalance already, right there. The same thing with workload, as I mentioned before, Chris. Do they work as hard as you? You don't want to be in a relationship where you are the person that's doing all the driving. It works so much better when you're equally in energy. You know, I'm the kind of person, I'll stay up all night till I get something done. And I work really well in the last hour, in that last minute. I go, go, go. Does the other person shut down and can't function? Those are qualities for me that I have to look at that balances out me. So you have to do that. If a person can't handle a high energy person, then that might not be the best partner for them, right? So you have to look at that. You have to look at, do they match the qualities that you can deal with on a regular basis?
What I love what you said is that every person is going to be different. You have certain parameters that are important to you. And long as that we communicate that clearly, concisely, and very specific to the other party, it's not like, oh, they can come and go, well, I assumed or speculated that you were like that, but you were like this. And this will reduce that likelihood for friction or expectations that go unfulfilled because that wasn't cleared up front. Now, if you found out that that person may not be that type of person, they don't have the work ethic that you do, or someone that doesn't believe it working at night in certain circumstances, okay, there's nothing wrong with that person. It's just that it may not be a fit to collaborate in that case. Doesn't mean collaboration, we collaborate with everyone. It's getting to choose based upon the criteria that aligns with each party. So you really demonstrated that well. Anything else you want to elaborate on that? Because I think that sometimes people are
Right.
not clear with their criteria.
Well, I want to say this. So giving an example, I've been an entrepreneur for over 24 years plus. There are some situations where it would be harder for me to be in a partnership with a person who has a 9-to-5 job. And I say that because there is some point in some of the businesses I do that I need you to be 100% in. And if that means that you have to take off those 2 weeks, especially, you know, when I do a conference in person, we have anywhere up to 1,500 people in attendance. I tell my partners, I hope you have this blocked off, because I have my home care business, but during the week of success, my husband takes care of that business. And I'm all in 100%. And normally it's the last 2 weeks, I'm 100% in. I'm really a person, I'll pull 16-hour days, right? But then there are others that come to the party. And what I say is, if you can't give but 2 hours or 4 or 5 hours a week, this partnership may not balance for us. Because I'm going to be frustrated, because I'm like, if you pour in what I pour in, you know, at the end of the day, Chris, you got to make money. So look, you can get there so much quicker if you're willing to be equal, or at least, look, there are going to be times where, you know, at least what I've seen in some of my partnerships, at the height of when we need to be the highest, you know, something tragic happens. Literally, for my conference level up, The night before at 3 a.m., I was sitting in the hospital because my mom had a cracked head. Her head, she had to literally, but my team understood and they drove forward. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, we were on time, not a beat. The people that were not in my immediate circle didn't know that was going on, right? The same thing with any business. Your partner has to be willing to step up and say, okay, she's in a crisis. I'm going to go ahead and get this done. We've been driving this. I know what to do. My team is going to step up. Her team can come in and work with me. And we're going to drive it. So nobody will miss a beat, right? That's why it's essential that you know your partner, that your partner brings the same energy to you, because they will, in the same sense, I will turn around and do the same. Okay, we've had where parents have, passed away. My parents, I'm in my 50s. So therefore, yes, there are parents that have passed away during our process. And we have to step up. I've had to step up and say, go take care of your business. I will handle this. That's what a partnership, and that's why it's critical. If you have a mom that has, maybe she has 2 or 3 kids, and she can't give the same energy as you, you have to decide if this person is going to be a good balance for the business for you. They may not be able to do that. They may not be able to be that committed as you are.
Very valuable points there, what you mentioned. If you could talk to Kearn about also now we talked about the criteria, like some of the things that are important to each party that's involved. When we look at making connections, how important is being consistent doing that?
It's consistent for me, because connections are relationships. Now, I know for years, many of y'all may see connecting as handing your business card, maybe sending an email every blue moon. Sometimes you need to pick up the phone. Sometimes you need to send a referral unasked. You see the opportunity. And I literally mean, go and look and see what you can send that person, right? Because that will help build a relationship. Connections must be about relationships. You must be willing to listen more than you talk, right? You must be willing to learn a little bit more about that person. Do they have a family? When we come to relationships, a lot of times we don't come out saying, well, I got these kids and I got grandkids and I got this and that. But if the person really wants to know you, they will literally say, hey, so how many do you have kids? You're married, blah, blah, blah. And then they listen, right? I often refer back to Dr. George C. Frazier. We call him one of the masters of collaborating, been doing this for 50 plus years. And one of the things he said that I really honed in on, Chris, he said, when I meet somebody for the very first time, I take 1 minute to introduce myself, and I let the person talk for 9 minutes. Now, he said, I'm not doing that to be rude. He said, I do that because I honestly want to know who this person is. And I can't do that if I'm sitting there trying to fight for time to talk. So that's how he enters a connection. And I'm like, small little things make a big difference.
So true. and like what I loved is it is consistent, because, a relationship takes time to nurture. It's not something, and every relationship's going to be different. Some are going to be really, you're going to have those relationships where you really are talking to these people on a frequent basis. Some are once in a while, and some are, could be just for a few things here and there and that type of thing. It's not that you're going to be best friends with everyone.
Right.
But that each relationship has a place, as long as that it's been established that way, and how we communicate in the actions that we take. No, so true. what would be some of the things that I know you mentioned about, some techniques, somebody that's looking to build their network right now, they're looking to build that. What would be some of the things that you would suggest to be the first steps for them to do that?
Well, number one, and when you meet somebody, a lot of times most of us don't know, and we often talk about the elevator pitch, right? You really need to be able to say who you are. I always say every connection is vital, right? That first 30 seconds that you have, you need to be able to say who you are quickly and briefly. I came up with a slogan for myself, butts in the seat queen. I do have to say, a friend of mine gave me that title, but it really kind of says that's what I do. I put butts in the seat. And it helps me to get to a conversation really quick. If you think about it, most people got to say butts in the seat. And so it creates that energy for us to open up conversation. You must be willing to, as I said before, come to any conversation planning to listen. And I have to say, I always tell people, my husband does this better than me, times 10. He understood that a long time ago, that you should always try to listen to people more than you actually talk, right? Then you also should figure out when they're talking, what is important to them. Do they talk about their family a lot? Do they talk about their job? What does their job in detail? How can you help? Maybe you know somebody that, maybe it's not even a direct connect, but it's a connection that could lead to something else. So take the time and say, okay, he's in the power industry, electric or so. So let me see, he's looking to get promoted. Maybe I can refer him to somebody in the field, or maybe not at his job, but at another place. You just have to start trying to think, how can I help him? What are you looking to improve on, right? What are you trying to ask them questions like that so that you can actually just fill them out? Then I always tell people, y'all, I know they call me a cyber stalker, but I go to people pages and I just kind of see, what are they doing? What are they into? What are their interests? And that can help you help them. Think about helping them. Come to the table to help other people. And at the end of the day, you will gain so much more. I get so much pleasure in the giving. Most people that attend my events, they know I like to buy things. I like to give out nice, just give away stuff. It's nothing about the value or anything like that. I love to see people smile, Chris. If you really pay attention to somebody, when they get something free, it could be a mug and they get excited. That is just well, that's just me, y'all. I get excited about that.
Well, you made a great point. It's a statement we always use here on Sustainable Success: give without expectation, receive without resistance. Because you get this feeling of that you've done something good for someone. You get that nice feeling, but it always comes back from somewhere else anyway. Something good. It could be an acknowledgement, a thank you. It could be money. It can be more business. It doesn't matter. It's just we receive it without resistance because we know we put something good out there on a continuous basis. So it's so true. Well, I'm looking forward to the next segment. When we come back, we're going to learn a little bit more about Kearn's conferences, books coming up, kind of shaping up how collaboration has really helped build her business, because she's involved in so many different things here. So we got more to come, everyone. We do not go away. And again, for those that are joining us, in the second segment here, you can listen to this show in its entirety later here today at the Voice America Influencers channel or at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you prefer to listen to your podcast, you'll find us there. And we'll be right back after the break.
All right, good job, guys. All clear. Back in about 2.
Okay, perfect.
So, Chris,
Yeah.
so I know you're going to join me on Power Up.
Yeah.
Get out there. So you'll be getting your email. It's a 5-day conference, and
I love to.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm actually I'm looking for some speakers. I'm trying to mix. I'm always trying.
I'll look out for some speakers for you. What kind of speakers are you, what are the styles you're looking for?
Well, Power Up. So in general, Level Up and Power Up is both, it caters to men and women.
Yep.
They came out of the pandemic. Basically, my encouragement is for people to power up every part of their life,
Okay.
every part. And so so I'm always, and I love having variety of speakers from people who are entrepreneurs, people who are nonprofit, people who are Christians coming in and want to share. It's not I don't do the churchy thing. I always,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, when I bring that, it's more the marketplace, Christians in the marketplace.
Exactly.
Lifestyles, healthcare, fitness. I'm looking for it all. I'm looking for just some solid people.
I got some people I'll recommend for you.
Okay, good.
I just took a note, so I'm going to put that down. Send to Kearn. Yeah, I'll take care of that later today or tomorrow. I can get on that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, we had a great time. My conference really went off.
Yeah, no, it was great. I
really
loved it.
Thank you. So
yeah, I know I promoted it. I was trying to promote it like almost every other day. I put, posts up there and link. We got a lot of traction on LinkedIn. I got a lot of people engaging it on LinkedIn for more than Facebook for some reason. Well, but hey.
Yeah, I like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is number 2 now behind Clubhouse. It used to be number 1.
Yes.
All right, we are just about to come back.
All right.
You are listening to Sustainable Success with Chris Salem. Call into our program today at 1-866-472-5795. Again, that's 1-866-472-5795, or send an email to Chris at ChristopherSalem.com. Now, back to Sustainable Success.
Well, welcome back again. We're talking about creating powerful collaborations and connections. We're here with Kearn Cherry. She is a speaker, coach, entrepreneur, author, and collaborator, owner of PRN Home Care, as well as the founder, director of Power Up Summit and Level Up Your Visibility and Profitability. Today's show, again, is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Again, this is a new social media platform which takes out all the noise from Facebook and LinkedIn, allowing people to form a community where they can share, talk, share photos, share experiences, files, maybe get your next job opportunity, whatever the case may be. Check them out at myalumnidirect.com. That's myalumnidirect.com. So, Kearn, we had talked, you've given so much wealth of information when it comes to collaborations, the power, how powerful it is to build your business and your net worth and so on. I would love to hear about, a little bit about you now. You've shared so much wisdom. I wanted to put this on you and start talking about some of the things that you're working on as a result of these connections and collaborations that you talked about. So if you could share a little bit about the summits, the new book that's going to have a lot of co-authors in it, we would love to talk about that with the audience.
So, so I have been doing events and conferences for almost 20 years now. Success Women's Conference is about 7 years old. We have had speakers from Les Brown, Forbes Riley, Robin Roberts from GMA, Lisa Nichols, all those people coming. And what I have found, Chris, is that what I do with my events is I create stages for other people to share their message, to reach other people. We were meant to create and share our stories. And typically great speakers such as yourself, there's a piece of them as you share part of what your talk is about, right? And so that allows us to share and give a mini testimony in addition to our presentation, right? So I enjoy creating events. I also coach people on creating their own profitable event. And I say that because many people have big party, Chris. They have all these great events. And by the time they look around, they have spent their own money. They have lost money. Some people actually go in debt behind events. Literally, I have seen this happen. And when I say events, I'm not talking about just conferences. I'm talking about galas, award shows, and the music shows, and all these type of things. People are spending, and they don't understand that even though you're doing an event is a business. It's a business. If it's a nonprofit raising funds, it's a business. You must treat it like a business in order for it to be successful. So don't go into it. I always tell people, stop putting your mom and your dad and everybody on your team. They're your support. You need to pay some people, and you need to bring people that have professional skills. I often talk about, don't even start unless you got a plan. If you don't know the reason why you're doing this event or a conference or whatever, you shouldn't be doing it. You must know your mission and your vision. So I'm very passionate about people to really think about why you would do it in the first place. And then when you pick your speakers, make sure they're active, make sure they're relevant, make sure they're out there and their voice is constant in the marketplace, right? Because I don't care how famous they are, if they haven't spoken in the last 2 to 3 years, they're probably not relevant. So these are some of the things. And if you're not willing to spend money to promote what you're doing, just throw it away altogether, right? So that, for me, I'm passionate about events. They, like I said, they call me the butts in the seat queens because I focus on marketing my event and putting people in to get people to attend the event. The other thing is I'm very big on helping people get visible because I think people have bought into this idea it's better to do and not be seen. And let's face it, people don't buy from people they don't know. People buy from people that they do know, or they feel that they know. How many celebrity or famous person, we feel like we know them, so we buy the item, right? The same thing is about your business. If you own a home care business such as myself, if they don't feel like they know me, they're not going to buy from me. And so I tell people all the time, you must become visible and you must constantly stay relevant. So that is really essential to me when it comes to what I do as well. And so the other way I help people share their story, Chris, is my book anthologies. I have one today that's in the process of, we're shooting for the #1 bestseller. So I always tell people, keep us in prayer because I'm always about #1. I actually, and I have that one. I also have Trailblazers Who Lead, which I'll talk about in a minute. But my anthologies for me are more than just people putting a chapter in a book. You're actually sharing a piece of who you are. And hopefully you will be able to connect and share your story, because your story is not for you. It is literally for somebody else. Who knows? You may save somebody's life. You may help somebody grow their business. You know, there are so many reasons why you should be sharing your story inside of a book. No, just, I always tell people, I don't even know why y'all do the whole book. I'm gonna write a book on myself. You can get 40 different stories or more by being in different anthologies. So my one that's out right now is Make It Happen. Make It Happen is about people who've gone through adversity, different type of adversities, and been successful and made it happen despite all that they've gone through. I have one young gentleman in our anthology. He is now 25, but he tried to commit suicide 3 times. And now he is, well, he'll be a #1 bestseller author, but he owns like 3 or 4 businesses. He's extremely successful, and he is a singer as well. And I say that, and I use him as an example because his story shows you, even though he's gone through some serious life trauma at a young age, he still found a way to make it happen. He still found a way to be successful and to do and be successful at the events that, I mean, the businesses that he's in. So I use his story. And there's another lady who is super impressive as well. She tells her story about having a stroke at the age of 50. Massive, not just a regular stroke, massive stroke. And Chris, this woman has her own online business, her own online business here 13. Well, she's been doing it for a little while now, but it just gets me so excited to allow them to share their story in my book anthology, Make It Happen. So look for that and buy the Kindle copy today if you can. We're trying to hit #1. And the other one that's coming out is Trailblazers Who Lead. I am looking for 30 authors for Trailblazers Who Lead. And I want to encourage you to contact me. If you want to contact me at kearncherry.com. That's the #1 way to contact me, kearncherry.com. And my favorite platform right now, as we speak, is Clubhouse, and it's Kearn Cherry. And then LinkedIn, Kearn Cherry. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and many other platforms as well. But my conference that's coming up is Power Up. It's Power Up International Virtual Summit. It will be July the 14th through the 18th, 2021. It will be virtual. Yes, I'm looking for speakers and all of that. So thank you, Chris.
Wow. Wow. Everybody listening, can you see the power of collaboration and connections? Look, all these things that she has built over her career. You know, yes, it started with her, but it took other great people she brought into her network to collaborate to make this happen. And not only for Kearn, but for them as well. I'm sure they have their own businesses and other things that they do. That's the beauty about collaboration, and so true. Well, we'll make sure that put the link for the book and for the Power Up as well. We'll put all that, make sure we get that on the recorded version, which will be out later today. So we highly encourage those that just joined us to listen to this show in its entirety. There's a lot of words of wisdom here and a lot of nuggets that she shared here. So I hope that you took notes. So Kearn, anything else? We're kind of winding down. We got about less than 3 minutes left. And I know you mentioned something about the book and the event, but I wanted to let you mentioned the website, but any other places where you might want to, where people can reach out to get to know you, to
Right.
reach out if there's anything that they want to ask you a question and so on.
So definitely, like I said, my main website is kearncherry.com. So you can go there if you're looking to link with me on coaching. I do that. I do help people get visible as well on coaching and create their own profitable event. You can also find me, go to powerupsummit.com for my current conference that's coming up. Yes, if you want to see what my conferences look like, go to time2levelup.com, time2levelup. You'll see Chris and all the other over 100 speakers were at that conference. So you can imagine Power Up is the bigger sister to Level Up. So I want to encourage you to go there. I love Clubhouse, so I highly encourage everybody to be on that platform and connect with me. I do events on Clubhouse as well. I love LinkedIn. That is the #1 place for me, for people to connect and follow me. I'm on Facebook as Kearn Crockett Cherry or Kearn Cherry. So all those, including Success Women's Conference, which is coming in September the 20th through the 26th. And you can go to successconference.info, successconference.info, apply to speak now, successconference.info. Those are things, both my Power Up and Success, we will be looking for nominations from across the world, people in different categories as well. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you. No, thank you, Kearn, for taking time out of your schedule to be here. I had a blast with Level Up, and we're looking forward to the next summit, and we're going to make sure we put that out there. Well, even the Success Women's Conference in September, we'll make sure here at Sustainable Success, we'll put out some press, get some people out there to be there. I want to thank you again, for being here and sharing all this words of wisdom around collaboration and connections and how powerful it really is. So everybody, we want to thank you each and every week joining us here, the Sustainable Success Way. You can always be somewhere else, but you choose to be here. And we are here every week to commit to delivering value to not only your business, but more importantly, you, because your business can't be successful without you being successful. And we are committed to that process to provide great experts like Kearn here that can allow you to tap into that wisdom to apply to elevate your business and your personal life to the next level. Till next time, we'll see you next Thursday here at the same time, 12 Eastern time to 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day, everyone.
All right, great job. We're all clear.
All right. Woo. It's a wrap.
Woo.
Great
Yes,
job. That was
yes.
awesome.
Thank
Kearn,
you.
what I'll do is Matt will be like, he's recording. He recorded each segment. He'll roll everything up, and by, I don't know, maybe like around 4 or 5 o'clock today, your time, I'll have everything out to you. I'll make sure we'll send an email to you for that. And then we'll be promoting it again tomorrow and Saturday. So you can do the same on your end. And
Yes,
we'll
absolutely.
send me any links, any updated links for the event and the book, as well.
The contact. Yeah.
We'll
I'll
put
do
that.
that.
We'll put that in the post-show notes.
Okay, I will definitely do that. So what were those links that I saw in your Instagram? Those are different shows y'all connect to?
Yeah. Those are just other shows that exactly.
Wow. Okay. Well, I can see you're a busy man. So thank
Yes.
you for your time. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Kearn, for taking time.
Yes, I appreciate you. Next time.
All right.
You're
We'll be in
welcome.
touch, and I'll get in touch with those speakers with you. And I look forward to being part of the Power Up as well.
Absolutely. You're
All
in.
right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, thanks,
Matt.
Chris.
Okay. Somewhere.